Welcome to Australia's Crown Melbourne, where the world's top poker players have gathered to play in the Southern Hemisphere's premier poker tournament. FullTiltPoker.net presents the Aussie Millions. A record field of 780 began play on day one, but now more than two-thirds of the players are on the outside looking in. But there's still plenty of star power left at the Crown, including two of the game's toughest competitors who find themselves at the same table tonight.
Alan's a guy that always brings it. He gives the most consistent effort of all the pros out there, and that's why you see that success.
In live tournaments, I think he plays a little bit looser to try to utilize his reading ability on people. So I'm just going to watch out for him.
See who survives and who'll be sent to the rail. And who'll be one step closer to winning the Crystal Trophy and $1.65 million. FullTiltPoker.net presents the Aussie Millions. Welcome to the Crown Melbourne on the banks of the Yarra River, where 780 of the world's top poker players began this tournament. I'm Barry Tompkins alongside noted poker author Michael Koenig. Day two action already underway.
No one runs as bad as I do.
Matiso doing what he does best, complaining and hanging on.
Eric Seidel, 8-time bracelet winner. He's healthy, 162,400 chips.
There's Andrew Black, the Irishman's making another strong run down under.
But they're all chasing this guy, Con Angelakis, 510,000 chips. Meanwhile, upstairs at our feature table, Eric Lindgren, the 2007 Aussie Millions $100,000 buy-in winner last year.
Next door to him, Keith Sexton, a stud specialist who made the top 25 last year at the Aussie Millions.
Alan Cunningham, he's got 5 bracelets, one of the best poker players in the world. Take a look at the chip count at our main table. Ramzi Jalasi, the big stack, 225,900. Eric Lindgren, over 100,000. But Alan Cunningham and Keith Sexton with some work to be done. The blinds, 1,000 to 2,000. The ante, 300. Action beginning with Ramzi Jalasi, the 21-year-old from Stockholm. 8-5. He'll fold. Williamson likewise folds. So too does Lindgren.
Lies.
Keith Sexton going to fold as well. Now Patrick Humerish, the German, with a Queen 4. He'll get out of the way. Now Alan Cunningham looks at a King 6. Will call in a small blind. To Jean Gennady with a 5-3. He'll check the big blind. 2 to the flop. 8-7-3, 3 spades.
Gennady has caught bottom pair, but all those spades and overcards probably look scary to him, and a bet takes care of this for Alan Cunningham. Drags in our first pot of the night.
So Cunningham will take down 9,400.
Somebody better start talking. It's going to be a boring table. The trick is to wait till you come up with something funny.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Otherwise, you're just Mike the Mouth.
And speaking of Mike the Mouth, right now he is downstairs and involved in a hand with a 22-year-old student from Brisbane, Australia, Mitch Carl. Mitch has bet 25,000 on the flop. That would be enough to put Matiso all in.
25,000 more.
Mike has committed nearly half his stack to the pot already, but he'll get rid of it and live to fight another day. So Carl will win this, 75,200, and Matiso's stack is sunk to 24,200.
I suck.
Clearly, Mike has some work ahead of him to get back into this thing. Meanwhile, over on table 20, Tony G has just called the all-in of Michael Binger. Binger, who tied a World Series record by cashing 8 times this past year. He's in the lead, but Tony G has got a flush draw.
Binger all in with the best hand, but Tony G's pretty live here. Well, that King of Hearts on the turn gives Tony G a few more outs. A 10 would give him a straight.
On the river, it is a 5 of spades, and Binger's going to double up and stick around a little longer. Tony G still in good shape with about 76,000. Binger, though, looking to make it deep here, just as he did when he finished third to Jamie Gold back in the 2006 World Series. Meanwhile, back at our feature table, action now on Patrick Humerish. Pocket deuces for Humerish. And he's going to call. Action folds to Tiffany Williamson, the 15th place finisher at the 05 World Series of Poker. Pocket sixes. She makes the call. And an ace-9 for Morgan. Got the Bear Bryant hat going.
Which you don't see that often from an Irishman.
No, exactly. Doesn't even know who Bear Bryant is. He makes the call, and so does Lindgren. Now Sexton, who will check.
So if you're watching at home, he meant to raise, and he didn't.
So now.
All right, go ahead.
Lindgren actually makes a good point. That would have been a cool spot for Sexton to push it all in.
Here's the flop. Jack 8-7 and 2 clubs.
Straight draws for Sexton and Morgan. Second pair for Eric Lindgren.
No one seems to want to bet as action checks all the way around. The turn of 4 clubs.
That gives Eric Lindgren 2 pair. He's going to bet it. But that also gives Morgan the nut flush draw to go along with a gut shot straight draw.
Sexton folds. Now Humrich, he also folds. So does Williamson. Now you and Morgan.
Morgan is facing a bet of $7,000, and with $19,000 in the pot, he's getting decent odds. Not exactly the right price, but he makes the call. Remember, there's a lot of dead chips in there because of all the smooth callers before the flop. And there's the flush card.
10 of clubs on the river.
Morgan made the straight and the flush, actually, with that card.
Lindgren checked. Now Morgan just trying to figure out how he can get the most out of this. $15,000 to bet for Morgan.
Tough spot for Eric Lindgren. All Morgan needs is any stray club in his hand. He happens to have the nut flush. And Lindgren lets it go. Morgan rakes in 41,000 chips.
It's a pretty sick card. Did you have me on the turn?
I made a straight on the river.
He's telling the truth. Sort of.
Really?
Straight, flush, he made it all as Lindgren gets snake bit on the river. We'll see how he responds when we come back.
We play for big pots, small stakes, and the chance to say, read 'em and weep. For the weekends, the all-nighters, and the lunch hour. We play for the legends and for the unknowns who dream of winning it all. For the bad beats and the pocket kings we sometimes have the sense to fold. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Welcome back to the 2008 Aussie Millions from the Crown Melbourne, where one player will follow Gus Hansen as this year's champion. Here's where we stand. 136 players remain. Only the top 80 get paid. Our chip leader still, Con Angelakis, $546,000. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with Michael Koenig. And Michael, it may only be day 2, but our feature table tonight includes 2 of the bigger names in poker, Alan Cunningham and Eric Lindgren, and a very experienced group besides them at this table. The strategy have to change?
No, absolutely not. It's too early. These players have to play their cards, not their reputation. And nobody can get too wrapped up with big names and championship resumes because there are a lot of other players out there who are hoping to make big names for themselves.
Action continues at our main table. That's Ramzi Jalasi. He'll be the first to act. Looks at an 8-7. And is going to raise 5,000. Fold around now to Lindgren with a 9-10, and he too will fold. So will Sexton. Humorous lets it go. Cunningham does as well. And Jean Giannotti will call with a king-jack. So 2 players to the flop. Ace, king, jack, 2 clubs.
Giannotti has spiked 2 pair. Jalasi has the flush draw. Giannotti checks, I believe, with the intention of raising. And Jalasi walks right into it, bets 7,000, and there's the raise.
To 25,000.
I guess I'm just intimidating.
Jalasi with merely an 8-high flush draw. He was the aggressor before the flop. He was aggressive on the flop. And he'll continue to be aggressive. He raises more than 94,000. That's enough to commit Giannotti's entire stack. Super bold play from Jalasi. Remember, he only has an 8-high flush draw here. Giannotti does have 2 pair, and he has to ask himself, is he willing to risk his tournament on it now?
And he folds. Jalassi's going to take down that pot with a nice semi-bluff. He plays a very aggressive style, and that puts a lot of pressure on his opponents, making some of them think that he may be better suited to the Psycho Ward than a poker table.
My name is Ramsey Jalassi. I am from Stockholm. I'm 21 years old.
A lot of people seem to think I'm crazy. I mean, sometimes I can go crazy on the table if they let me. I remember playing with Eric Lindgren and Phil Hellmuth in WSOP Europe. And after that, Eric Lindgren thought I was a bit of a maniac.
Why are you so sick, Eric? Why'd you have to do that to me?
I had pretty good grades. I read a lot of mathematics and stuff like that. I got kind of bored of it, so I didn't perform really well. And also poker came into the picture. But I have plans to go to study. I could lose all my money. I mean, I probably won't, but if I do, then I can't sit there 25 years old living with my mom and have no money. So it'd be a good idea to get an education, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I just take one day at a time and hope to have fun and hope to, we'll just see what happens in life.
Well, so far it's worked out pretty well for him.
No doubt, Barry. A lot of accomplished pros will tell you they'd rather play against somebody who does it by the book than an unpredictable maniac. Jalassi's a hard one to figure out.
Checking in downstairs where Michael Binger's in bad shape. He's put it all in with pocket kings, but he's run into the aces of Eric Seidel.
That's just a cold deck, Barry. Nothing that can be done here but put it all in.
And the flop, 10-5-3. Not very helpful to Binger. Seidel still with the lead. Turn card is a 10 of clubs.
Binger needs one of the two remaining kings or his Aussie Millions run is finished.
And the river is a 6 of clubs. That's going to do it for Michael Binger. He has been eliminated by Eric Seidel, who will add more chips to a growing stack, which now totals 185,000. Meanwhile, another top pro in trouble. Mike Matusow is all in and trailing 67-year-old Antonio Casali. Matusow has ace-jack to Casali's pocket queens.
See me walking. I know I'm going to win.
Here's the flop.
Flop is 10-7.
10-7-5. That completely missed Matusow. He's starting to gather up the goods.
Doctor.
And Mike getting ready to look for the exit.
Really thought I had the best.
Matusow needs running cards for a straight or an ace.
It's an ace! And it is an ace! And Matusow now has the lead. He just needs to avoid a queen on the river, and he will double up. On the river. It is a deuce.
Thank you, I'm a superstar.
Mike Matusow wins the hand and survives.
Poker, poker, it's all skill. Just be an idiot and go uphill.
Well, we'll see if a little luck can go a long way for Mike the Mouth. Day 2 action of the Aussie Millions from the Crown Melbourne here in Australia. Action continues at our feature table now. You and Morgan going to be the first to act. Looking at a pair of eights. It's going to raise to 5,500. Look at this from Lindgren. Pocket jacks.
And he just calls with those jacks. Interesting play with so many players behind him. Eric Lindgren apparently feels he doesn't need to protect his hand.
Sexton and Umerich both fold, so does Cunningham, and now Gennady. And Jalassi with a pair of nines.
How much do you have, Eric? Like 120?
No, less.
Less? Yeah. About 100?
70, yeah, about 100.
Jalassi may be considering a re-raise here. Nope, he just calls.
Williamson folds. So 3 players to the flop. And the flop is an 8-3 deuce. Great for Morgan.
And bad news for Jalassi and Lindgren. They both have overpairs to that flop, but Morgan is holding the set.
And Morgan checks, setting a trap. And Lindgren falls right into it, betting 13,000.
13?
Now Jalassi. Still with an overpair. And he's going to fold.
Wow, pretty remarkable fold there. The situation didn't seem to warrant it, but Jalassi must have had a read on his opponents.
So now Morgan Counting out a raise, and he's going to raise it to 33,000.
If I call 20, are you going all in on the turn?
Tough decision for Lindgren. He knows Morgan could have the better hand, but it's also possible Morgan could be pushing a flush draw.
You get so quiet all of a sudden, Mr. Chatty.
Morgan betraying nothing.
Lindgren contemplating his pair of jacks.
Get tight later.
Folds.
Tremendous fold.
You're not going to show this one? Take a look. Here.
It's going to be fun to see on TV what happened there.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
Well, Lindgren makes a nice laydown there. He decides not to gamble, and that's a rarity for most poker players, because if there is action, you'll usually find them wagering on everything and anything.
Okay, why do we bet on everything?
Well, it's just the action.
I'm sick. I don't know why they do. I just need action.
I bet you this, I could find 3 people that would give a better answer than me.
It's fun.
We're gamblers. So when we have a disagreement, we tend to settle it with some money.
My worst loss bet is I have a tattoo of another man's initials on my back because of a last longer bet at the LAPC last year.
The most ridiculous bet I ever made was at the World Series of Poker, and I bet somebody $1,000 that they didn't have fingernail clippers in the makeshift gift shop that they do every year. I bet them that they didn't have fingernail clippers. They did. I lost the bet.
I mean, I know one of the stupider bets I made is when I bet like the Shawshank Redemption won Best Picture when the year Forrest Gump won it. And they said, no, don't make that bet. Doyle says to me, he goes, I made that bet and lost $5,000. I said, oh, no, I'm positive. I still made the bet after Doyle told me not to make the bet that he had lost the bet. So that was pretty bad, dumb bet.
Well, the most incredible thing I ever put money on, I didn't actually do. I did bet Eric Lindgren last summer that he could not play 4 rounds of golf in one day.
I had to break 100 4 times in a one-day period at the course in Vegas, and carrying my own bag in 106-degree heat. And that was messed up.
He did it. The son of a gun.
I lost 13 pounds in one day, and I should have went and got an IV. I was very, very sick.
I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since 1990, and someone bet me $10,000 that I wouldn't eat a cheeseburger. Didn't taste that good, but the $10,000 felt good.
Just betting on things adds to level competition. It just means never taking it easy. The only way to get that kind of competition or that wanting to win is betting enough money that you care.
It's fun. It adds excitement to it. I mean, you know, if you ever went to the horse races, would it be any fun if you didn't bet? You know, just basically our entire life is one big horse race.
Mike, what's the craziest bet you've heard of?
Well, I wrote a book about a male poker pro named Brian Zembic who made a $100,000 bet that he would get breast implants and keep them for a year. It's 9 years later, Barry. He still has those 38 C's.
Action here, folding around to Alan Cunningham with an ace-jack. Right. And he's going to make it 6,000. And that's going to get Gennady out of it.
Oh, Jalasi has big slick.
What you think?
And he asked for a count.
Yeah, this could be big trouble for Alan Cunningham.
I'll make it 19.
Going to raise to 19,000.
This is one of those situations where he knows. Cunningham is apt to raise with any 2 cards on the button against the blinds. Jalasi knows that, and Cunningham knows that Jalasi knows that. Cunningham believes that his ace-jack suited is the best hand right here. And given his slightly tenuous chip position, Mr. Cunningham may believe it's time to make a stand.
I'll raise it. All in.
And he's going all in.
I call.
And an instant call from Jalasi. And Cunningham knows he is in trouble.
Almost a smooth call.
Cunningham's tournament is on the line. He is all in with only a 27% chance to survive.
And here is the flop. 10-9-7.
Well, no improvement for either player, but Cunningham did pick up an inside straight draw. He'll need an 8 to complete that.
So we go to the turn. 9 of clubs.
That's a good card for Cunningham. Gives him a few more outs. He's looking for an 8 or a jack to win or for the board to pair to split the pot. Otherwise, he's out of the Aussie millions.
It is a 4 of hearts on the river, and that's going to do it for Alan Cunningham.
They will.
Well, a 5-time bracelet winner eliminated from the tournament, he'll have a long trip home to think about his play. Jalasi puts him out.
Even insane players pick up hands.
And one of the craziest of them all continues to build his stack. Welcome back to FullTiltPoker.net's coverage of the Aussie Millions main event from Melbourne. Let's take a look at the chip count at our main table, and Ramzi Jalasi is our chip leader there. He's got the big stack, 295,000. Eric Lindgren has now dropped below 100,000. The short stacks, Keith Sexton and Patrick Umerish. And remember, everybody's chasing the chip leader, Khan Angelakis. He has over 500,000 chips. Action here folds around to Jalasi. Jalasi looking at an ace-5.
5.5.
Nice. And he's going to stay right on the gas as he raises it to 5,500. 10-5 for Morgan. He'll get rid of that. And it folds around to Keith Sexton with an ace-queen.
I think this is a spot for the short stack to just shove it all in.
And Sexton's going to do just that. All in for 22,200 to Jalasi.
I'll call.
And he's going to call. Cool. It's going to cost him 16,700.
And those odds don't really warrant an instant call, but given Jalasi's huge chip position, I guess he feels willing to gamble.
And here is the flop. Queen Jack 10 on the flop. Sexton likes it.
And Jalasi probably has a better chance to tie here than he does to win.
First draw.
The turn is a 7 of clubs.
Great card for Jalasi.
That's pretty sick.
He picks up a flush draw. He's looking for a club to win or a king to chop.
Not going to be 10 of hearts. And Sexton will double up.
I wish you had more than I could fold.
Well, Sexton doubles up to 47,500 to remain in the tournament. You know, for Keith, poker's always been a game which runs deep in his blood, and as of late, it's a skill that he's passing down to the next generation of Sextons.
My name's Keith Sexton. I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio. I now live in Las Vegas.
My name is Matt Sexton. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, and I play poker for a living. Born and raised in the Sexton family. I guess it was my dad taught me for most of my life. My brother helped me play and learn, and my grandma as well. So it's been a poker family.
You know, I never set out to teach them how to play poker. It just worked out that way. They both were very interested, like all kids.
Oh, man, the first time I beat my dad at anything, regardless of poker, the first time, I mean, you feel like you won the world. And sometimes when you're like 8 or 9, you feel like you really won. You did something. You go sleep better at night. But, yeah, even now, I guess, even now when you win, or even if you just prove that you made a better play at a hand, you feel pretty good about it. Yeah, you do.
I think Matt and Paul are probably both better at no limit holding than me. But I think they're younger, they got more heart, they're a little crazier. And I think Matt in particular, you know, you got to be insane to be a great no limit holding player. I'm too old. Let's get down to 2 of us, say me and Matt. Got down to the final 2 of us, which would be, you know, pretty fun. I don't know. I'd almost hope he'd win.
I'm actually kind of surprised. He thinks he's good, so much better at everything. I'm surprised, but it's okay. He's being nice. He's being modest on TV, I guess.
You love your kids. What can you do? It's unconditional, I guess.
And here's the Sexton family update. Keith just hanging on. Paul eliminated on day 1.
And there's a look at son Matt. He's been grinding away most of the day, pretty much like his father. He's going to kick in that hand, and he'll continue to hover just over 50,000 chips. Over on table 10, Andrew Black rakes in another pot. He's going to build on his success in Australia. His stack now up over 300,000. Remember, he finished 3rd here a year ago to Gus Hansen and Jimmy Fricke, and he's putting himself in a position to get right back to the final table.
Andrew, where you going? Stay with us, buddy.
Not that position. Well, here's a guy who's not lost it. His name is Khan Angelakis. He's from Sydney, Australia, and he has held the chip lead virtually from the get-go. Ryan Eber pushed all in here with pocket queens. Angelakis called with aces. Khan's been a knockout machine, and he's hoping his hand holds up here. On the flop, king and a pair of jacks.
Pretty safe flop for Angelakis. He's got the running clubs covered. Eber's looking for running straight cards. That won't happen, so now on the river, he'll need a queen or Eber is out.
It is a king of hearts. Ryan Eber will be eliminated from this tournament, and Con Angelakis is right around 600,000 now, one of just 4 players who have eclipsed the 300,000 chip barrier. And here is the tournament update. Angelakis is the chip leader with Matt Lagarde, Kevin Saul, and Andrew Black all right there. That's the top 4. 80 players will get paid, remember. Right now, 119 players remain in the tournament. Back to the action at our feature table. And Sexton going to throw away a king-queen. And we fold around now to Jalasi. He will fold to Tiffany Williamson.
Race.
With an ace-3. And she will raise to 6,000. Morgan folds. Now Lindgren with a queen-10.
In the big blind, it will cost him 4,000 more, and we've got 2 players going to the flop.
And here is the flop. Queen 5-4 on the flop, a rainbow.
Check. Mr. Lindgren connects. Check. He's got top pair, and he's slow playing it.
Check. Check. Check, check.
Whoops.
Ace of hearts on the turn. Williamson with a pair.
And that's the danger of giving free cards.
Check from Lindgren. Now Williamson. 7,500 the bet.
Lindgren was willing to give a free card. Is he willing to get away from his hand when he suspects he's beaten? That's the mark of a great player.
Lindgren folds.
Got it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's do business again.
Well, Tiffany Williamson takes a small pot from Eric, who has lost nearly half the chips that he started the day with.
Just going to teach you to raise every hand.
It's scary up here.
Lindgren starting to show some signs of frustration here in Melbourne. More of the 2008 Aussie Millions when we come back. Welcome back to the Crown Melbourne. We're in the heart of downtown Melbourne, Australia, where just 114 players remain in the main event of the Aussie Millions. Action continuing at our feature table. And Lindgren looking at a pair of 9s.
I bet he didn't like it then.
And he's going to raise it up to 6,000. Not for Sexton. Now Patrick Umerish, 21-year-old student from Germany, pair of 5s.
And on a serious short stack, he probably only has one move to make. There it is, all in.
For 13,100.
Did you finish?
Folds around now to Tiffany Williamson with the king 10 suited, and she'll throw it away to Lindgren.
I call.
Who calls?
Pair.
Sick. Yeah, you could say Humerich has very thin drawing chances here.
Good luck, McLovin.
That, of course, a reference to a character from the movie Superbad.
And accurately describes Humerich's chances to win this hand.
On the flop.
Oh!
Wow!
Well, I guess McLovin showed Lindgren what time it is.
Goodness, sit back down, my friend.
Quad 5s for Umerish. That should keep him alive in this tournament. And how often does that happen?
Never happened to me yet.
Well, he's too busy hanging around with his honey flies.
Well, it is a jack of spades on the turn. That's going to do it for Umerish, and that's going to keep him around to play another day. And for Lindgren, things just kind of going from bad to worse.
Just really want to just.
Good hand, my friend.
My son.
McLovin.
Well, the struggle's continuing for Lindgren. He sees his stack now, somewhere around 75,000.
Have you seen the movie Superbad?
Yeah.
Moderately look like Fogel. McLovin, you got the fake ID?
Yeah. I look like him?
Just moderately, just a little.
Well, as Eric gives Patrick a lesson in pop culture, it's time for us to give a lesson on Aussie speak in this installment of the Down Under Dictionary.
Today on Down Under Dictionary, the word is buggerlugs.
Bugger lugs?
Bunger lugs.
Booger lugs?
What?
Bugger lugs.
What the frick is bugger lugs?
That's somebody that just follows you around and bugs you all the time.
Mike the Mouth is a very smart man.
It's like a swear term, like, I forgot my coat. Bugger lugs. Right? No?
Bugger lugs, affectionate term to describe someone whose name you can't remember.
You Australians, you're so romantic.
Ankle biter.
An ankle biter.
Ankle biter.
Is it some sort of bug?
An ankle biter is
women's shoes that have kind of like a... No, that can't be it.
Ankle biter is probably somebody that wants money.
I'll bet it's a shopping cart where you're trying to do your shopping and some guy hits you in the back of the ankle. That really hurts.
I don't know.
Ankle biter, kid, little kid. The one that crawls on the ground.
Ankle biter, small child.
Ankle biter, that's a much better term, because, you know, those little Australian kids, they're ferocious.
See you next time on Down Under Dictionary.
I got an ankle biter at home. 6'4" now, though.
I remember him, old Bugger Lugs.
Who could forget him? Action continuing on our feature table. And Eric Lindgren hoping for a little change of luck.
Pass. Tide is right.
Not going to play this hand, though. Folds around to Keith Sexton with a 6-5 suited. He'll call the 2,000.
Well, you're loose.
Chili wing.
Humorish folds from the small blind. Shinati going to check. So 2 players to the flop. And on the flop, Queen Jack 4.
This is one of those situations where anyone who wants to represent is going to be successful.
And Sexton does that. That's 5,000. That gets Giannotti out of there. Sexton will take it down.
Comeback kid.
Yeah, we've been down the clock a few times. Let's need to double up through like one more time.
Can't let your son outlast you.
No way.
Let's go, old man.
He's a maniac. You have to be a maniac to be good at this game.
Well, Sexton's alligator blood allows him to keep hanging around. Welcome back to the Crown Melbourne, home of the 2008 Aussie Millions Championship. Well, the Crown Melbourne is a bastion of luxury and recreation, and those two ideas come together perfectly at the Crown Spa. Take a sauna, jacuzzi, or how about a massage? You can let all your worries melt away at the Crown Spa.
And when you're facing the stresses of a poker tournament, that spa can be awfully relaxing.
Not relaxing at all down on the floor, though, for Mike Matiso.
Blind and awake, oh, can't you say I'm blind and awake? Because I'm a donk and I play like and that's what happens now.
Well, Mike is struggling to stay afloat with just over 20,000 in chips now. Across the room, Eric Seidel's involved in a hand with Kenneth James, who bet out 10,000 on a flop of King 3-4 all spades.
But Seidel is raising back 30,000. And Kenneth James looks like he's reluctantly going to give it up.
Well, Eric Seidel continuing to build his stack after taking down a decent-sized pot right there worth 70,000. He now finds himself right in the thick of things. He's over 260,000 chips. Meanwhile, over at table 27, Tony G has pushed his last 30,000 all in with a 5-4 offsuit, and he's been called by Terrence Chan, who turned over King 10.
Tony G got it in real bad. He's going to need miraculous running cards.
Doesn't get it. The only thing that's going to be running now is Tony G. Might be able to make it home for dinner. He is out of here. Meanwhile, the tournament update. 111 players remain of the 780 who began things. Remember, only the top 80 players get paid. Average chip stack is just over 140,000. Angelaka still our chip leader. Action at our feature table continues. Morgan going to fold to Lindgren, and Lindgren looking at a pair of aces. Going to raise to 5,000.
Discount.
Now Sexton, the King Jack, not going to play. Folds all the way around now to Ramzi Jalasi with an ace queen.
And Jalasi is going to like this hand.
I'll make it 16.
Going to raise to 16,000. Williamson folds. Now Lindgren.
He could be cute here and just call, but I think he might want to consider just moving all in and trying to represent desperation.
Oh. Just going to call.
How much do you have behind?
That's a good question.
That question is sweet music to Eric Lindgren's ears.
43, 52, about 60.
60.
So 2 players to the flop, and Lindgren in great shape. On the flop, Queen 10-9. Jalasi has paired his queen, and now that could embolden him.
Yeah, that's a great flop for Eric Lindgren in that his customer is now firmly on the hook. I don't see any way for Jalasi to get away from this hand.
I'm going to check, Eric.
Well, he checks, Michael.
I think Jalasi must be intending on check raising. Remember, he re-raised before the flop. He connected on the flop. Jalasi's got to love his hand. And meanwhile, Eric Lindgren appears to be cogitating, but I think he's made up his mind what he must do here.
All in.
And that's it. Move all in.
Wow.
For $59,700 to Jalasi.
I thought I was going to fold to anything but an all-in.
And now he is faced with that all-in move.
And Jalasi will have to figure out what hand could Lindgren make that move with.
Pretty sick. You have jacks? I can beat jacks.
That is a plausible hand.
That's about the only thing I can beat.
So is a set of tens or a set of nines. Interestingly, though, Jalasi has the ace of hearts in his hand, so he can rule out Lindgren making a move with the ace-king or some sort of ace flush draw.
This might be a fold, but I'm going to fold.
Wow, he lays it down.
A very impressive fold. Jalasi dodges a major bullet.
And Lindgren will win a nice pot, but not nearly the pot that he would have hoped for.
For an alleged maniac, Jalasi has made a couple of very good laydowns.
Well, Lindgren at the very least hopes he turned the corner and that there are good things ahead. More of the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions when we come back.
Is he bluffing? I think he's trying to bluff me here. I bet that ace hit. What is he thinking? What is he trying? When the ace came off on 4th Street, he played with his chips. 13 to 1, 12 to 1, 16 to 4 to 1, 8 to 2. Makes my two pair good. Unless I'm drawing dead. I like my chances. I'm all in. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
To the main event of the Aussie Millions Poker Championship. Back down in the poker room where just over 100 players remain in the tournament. We'll check in with Andrew Black, who has been among the leaders all day long. He's in a hand with Gareth Tatum, who tosses in a bet of $12,500 after connecting on the flop.
Unfortunately for Black, he also has an ace, and he makes the call.
On the turn, a 9 of clubs.
All in.
And Tatum's going to move all in.
Oh, go.
Black instantly makes the call.
Now you win.
And he's not going to be a happy guy. Tatum flips over that ace-queen, dominating Black's ace-10 at the moment. And the river. It is a deuce, and Gareth Tatum wins the hand. Well, Andrew Black makes a misstep late in the evening, giving Tatum a pot worth over $180,000. Let's move quickly across the room now. Mike Matusow, who's been close to the felt nearly all day long, is all in with pocket aces against the pocket queens of Marco de Vilder. Matusow in a great position here to double up. The turn card is a deuce.
Needs to dodge a queen, and he will double through.
And the river is an 8. And the mouth gonna double up. Almost 80,000 in chips.
I waited all day. Stay alive for that hand.
So Mike Matusow avoids elimination, and he may have found himself some breathing room down under. Meanwhile, back at our feature table, blinds are up to 1,200 and 2,400, and the ante of 400. Got a new player, Jason Potter, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Now over to Patrick Umerish, whom Eric Lindgren referred to as McLovin. He folds.
Not a super bad fold.
Fold around now to Jalasi. Jalasi with a king-queen. Reaching for chips.
6.5.
Raise 6,500.
Gonna raise it up to 6,500. Too rich for Williamson. Morgan also folds. Now Lindgren.
His old buddy.
Ace-queen suited.
And in the blind, this is a hand that Eric Lindgren can effectively disguise if he chooses to merely call, which he does.
4,100.
Jalassi has no idea how strong Lindgren is right now.
Here's the flop. 2 hearts, a pair of 6s.
Great flop for Eric Lindgren. Nut flush draw. He has his opponent dominated. And he's betting here for value.
9,500 the bet.
Lindgren throwing some chum to the shark, knowing Jalassi's tendency to be aggressive.
25.
And Jalassi's going to raise to 25,000. Now back to Lindgren.
And Lindgren has a lot of information to digest here, both tactically and strategically. In his mind, he thinks he could be trailing to, for instance, an overpair. But he's got a huge draw, and it's a key point in the tournament.
All in.
Lindgren is going all in, and it puts the onus now back on Ramzi Jalassi. It'll cost him 63,500 more.
I'm gonna be sick if I call with king high and you have ace high flush draw.
And I don't see any way that Jalassi can call here. I mean, other than an outright bluff or some sort of baby flush draw, there's no hand where he gets the right price.
Wow. I'm gonna be so sick if you have like ace 5 of hearts or something.
If that is indeed what Jalassi thinks Lindgren has, he needs to fold. He's not getting the right price. I wonder if there's some lingering effect here from that last big laydown.
I call.
And he calls.
Terrible call.
Oh, sick.
Of course, Lindgren doesn't think it's terrible. He thinks it's beautiful.
Nice play.
92% to double through and remain in the tournament.
So Eric Lindgren just needs to avoid a king, and he does so on the turn, a deuce of clubs.
No king on the river. Eric Lindgren is back in a big way.
Remember, 2 kings left in the deck. McLovin folded one earlier. And we go to the river. It is a 4 of hearts, and Lindgren has taken down his biggest pot so far tonight and gets himself right back into the thick of things.
And he's got that young man to thank.
You knew I was drawn.
I didn't know, but I felt like it.
Well, after sparring with Jalassi all day, Lindgren's patience finally pays off.
You had me with 2 outs.
That's a good place to be. Right, McLovin?
Well, humorist seems amused, but Eric Lindgren gets the last laugh tonight. Less than 100 players remain from the record field that took their seats on day 1.
I am a suck-out god. Thank you, I'm a superstar.
For some, it's been a struggle to survive.
This is scary up here.
While others are positioning themselves to make a run for it all.
I love it down under.
The Aussie Millions really begins to heat up.
Yeah! Yes! Oh!
As the race to the money continues next week. For Michael Koenig, I'm Barry Tompkins. So long, everybody.